Hey IQers, Jonathan Levinson here with your daily Excel tip. So in this session, we're going to call this the basics part two. So there's a couple things I'd like to go through. So let's get familiar with the worksheet or the workbook that we're utilizing for this exercise. So in this workbook, we have three worksheets. We have a summary tab, a detail tab that has all the information. And then we also have this mobile numbers that has reps and mobile numbers, as well as the state and zip code um, concatenated in one column. So if we head back over to the details, the first thing I want to talk about is freezing panes. So in the previous session, I talked about using tables, which I always recommend. But if you are working with a range, right, and as you're kind of scrolling down, you'd like to see what these are. Well, if we click on any one of the top row, and we go to view, we can actually go and freeze that pane or freeze the top pane because I happen to see it. So now when I scroll down, right now I can follow the different column headers. There's also another thing that people don't realize, but if you go for the intersecting piece, so let's say if I click here and I click freeze panes, not only will the top hold, but if I was to scroll to the right, you'll notice the order date actually stays there as well. So could be quite useful. So I'm going to go ahead and unfreeze those panes. Um, Another cool thing that I use quite often is, like I said, we have two worksheets, but I want to really see them side by side for multiple purposes. So if I click on any one of those tabs and I go to our view and I click a new window, it's actually going to bring in that same Excel spreadsheet. So I'm going to click on my mobile numbers, and then what I can do is go and arrange this to be vertical. So if you notice, now we have our details pane over here and we have here. And obviously, if I make any changes here, um, if I go to mobile numbers, it is there because you're actually working on the same sheet. It's quite useful. So the next thing I'd like to talk about is filling in some data. So this mobile number format here, right? It's not very readable. So Excel's pretty smart. Now you can write a function. You can use a concatenate and a left and a mid and a right for. You can go down that, but Excel's really smart. So if you start typing, so I'm going to go 542. I'm looking off of B2 dash 444 dash 1254. I'm going to hit enter. It's going to go to the next one, and you're going to notice it automatically filled it in. So I can hit tab, and I don't have to do any work. Excel already did the work for me. So now I have a readable, right? A readable mobile number. So that's one example. I'm going to go ahead and move this over here, and I'll explain to you why. Right now, I want to get the state over to the detail page. So you can see we've got this concatenation, but I really need this separated. So there's something called text to columns. So if you go up to the data tab and you highlight that column, you'll notice up here that we have text to columns. So we go ahead and click. It's going to come up with more of a wizard. In this case, it's delimited, right? It's by a space. So I'm going to go ahead and hit next. And then it says, how is it delimited? I am going to check the space, and you'll notice it separates it down here and gives you that preview. So I can hit next, and I can give it specific data formats. Doesn't make any difference for this purpose. I'm going to go ahead and finish, and you'll notice it split those two um, columns. The one thing I do want to say is if you do that and you have data to the right, be careful because it will tell you that it's going to overwrite data. So just be real careful. So the next thing I'd like to talk about is removing duplicates. So let's say, for instance, column C, we want to just get the unique names, right? Like we could see Jones being repeated multiple times. This is kind of how I did the mobile numbers tab, but I want to kind of walk you through it. So I'm just going to copy that whole entire column. We'll just create a new worksheet for this purpose. I'm going to go ahead and paste that, and I'm going to go ahead and highlight column A, go back to our data tab, and you'll notice we have removed duplicates. So because we only have data in column A, it's going to ask, what do you want to make sure that we can remove that contains duplicates? So in this case, we're calling column A. So what you'll notice is it says 32 duplicate values were found, and there are 12 unique values that remained. And here is the full unique list of all the reps that are listed on the detail worksheet. That's it. Let's call it a day, and you guys have a great day.